Welcome back to BTT Book Review, everyone. This is Blind Table Talks Uncut. We have our ladies here getting ready to have our monthly book discussion. But before we do, let's go ahead and remind you all who we have at the table with us. And I am Saida Victoria, your host. And who do we have next here?
We have Christina Ford, your podcast administrator. We got Cynthia, the book boss.
Yeah, good one.
We have Gabby GB, president of Peanuts Crew, and just a book advocate.
Yes.
I love books and book enthusiasts.
You have Rianne here in New York, crazy bookworm lady.
I'm Trisha, the book obsessed.
Well, good. I think it's clear that we are all some form of book junkies or book whatever you want to call us.
And
but
it is definitely dope to be a book junkie.
yeah.
It is definitely dope.
Hey, and
It's
that's
the
the one
thing.
drug that you
It
can be
is a
obsessed
vibe.
on.
Yes, it's a vibe to be indulging in books.
When you
It's a
guys
vibe.
get in your books, like, because I have my AirPods, right? And I'm in my books everywhere. I mean, I'm in the kitchen,
Mhm.
and then you have people talking to you, and I don't hear
Ooh.
nobody. I'm like, huh? And then they're
Like
finally
what?
calling
Are
me.
you
Yeah,
talking to me?
exactly.
Why? Why are you talking to me right now? Can't you see I'm listening to something?
I hate it when
Right.
my phone
Yeah.
rings. I'm like, don't
Oh,
call me. Don't
exactly.
like
That
I have one
too.
person that always calls me as soon as I start my book. It's like she just be watching my phone. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Right.
Okay, am I the only weirdo? I prefer to read my books when I'm eating, and it irks my
Oh,
nerves when
that's
people want to engage with me while
in
I'm eating
conversation.
because
Oh,
I'm eating
yes.
and reading, and it's I don't know, is that bad? I don't know.
No,
No, I
No,
do that all the time.
I sat down
I'd
this
be like,
morning
I
with
will be
coffee and
back.
oatmeal and a book. It's like,
I
yes.
could
what?
be thrust in a good vibe, good conversation. If I'm about to eat, I'm like, I will return. Like,
GB, I have
I'm
it
about to
so
zone out.
bad that I do it even at restaurants. Like I'll be talking,
Mhm.
but when my food comes, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, let me put my book on. Like
Now
I
look,
want
and
to
don't let it
eat.
be a good book.
Right.
And don't it seem like every time you have to do something or respond or engage, it's at a
A
pivotal
good
point in
point.
the book.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God. Oh.
Right. Do you
That
guys
is so
ever
Okay.
true.
do you guys ever yell at your books out loud? Like, no, you don't.
Oh, I
Oh,
talk to
Oh,
everybody in the
Yeah.
book.
Oh yeah.
I
and then
talk to everyone.
people are like, what happened? What's wrong? I'm like, oh, nothing. I'm sorry, but it's my book. Don't worry about it. It's just my book. Well, dang, I
I
thought
got book
something happened.
families,
Yeah.
book
Trish, what were you
boyfriends,
saying?
book husbands. I got book adventures, book trips I'm gonna take, all type of stuff.
Yes.
I get
Oh,
so frustrated when I have to pause or rewind my book because I can't do
yeah.
it right away. I listen to
Right.
books and I do everything. If
Yeah.
I'm washing dishes,
Oh,
I do it old
yes.
school with my hands,
Yes.
or I'm
Yes.
Yeah.
cooking, like cutting up raw chicken or something. I can't pause. I can't reach up and hit the button right now.
Right. Yeah.
So then and my
Right.
kids are
So
like, "Mommy, I need everything." So
Yeah.
right. And people that are listening, if you don't indulge in books like we're saying we do, you're not a book junkie.
Yes,
You
you're
just read
not.
books.
You
You
know, but
just read books.
it's
She said
a
you
you
just
guys
read.
Sorry, not sorry. Like
it's
you're not.
it's a pastime. I mean, it makes me enjoy folding laundry. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like
yes.
it's
Mhm.
something to do while even if you're doing things you really may not want to do. I mean, I love folding laundry. Why? Because it
I do
gives me the
too.
opportunity to listen to my book and just
Uh-huh.
zone out and fold my
And it's
clothes.
therapeutic
Yeah,
too. Working those
exactly.
arms, moving.
Yeah, I
Right.
see like if I do mines like that while I'm cleaning or cooking, I play it out loud instead of just in my ear. And
Ooh,
so
I
like
Yeah.
my
Mm.
son was telling
Uh-huh.
me this morning, he's like, where is your Bluetooth? This the 5-year-old. He's like, where's your Bluetooth?
Really?
I don't want to hear this. I'm like, so if I turned on music, it would be fine for everybody. Like you wasn't even in here. I
Right.
was playing
Right.
this, you know.
Yeah,
I don't
I
listen to many books that can be played out
out
loud.
loud.
Oh wow.
Yes, those
Yeah,
are
I
the ones you
definitely can.
out
When
loud.
they hear my book going out, I only play it out loud in my room for the most part. If no
I,
one's here, I play it in the dining room.
here's the
But
thing for me, you guys. Shout out to you that can play it out loud. I cannot listen to a book unless it's in my ear. It's just
mm,
I don't want to say my folk like I just can't get into it if it's playing out loud somewhere. It has to be in my ear. I do not know why. I just cannot listen or give my full attention. I feel like it leaves room for distractions for me. I don't know.
mm.
That's probably just me, but it's just weird. I cannot listen to it because it's so easy for me to do other things, or I don't know. It's weird. I feel like I miss something if it's playing out loud because I'll go in the
Mhm.
I do the
closet,
same.
or
I like to have them in my ear. It
hmm
helps me immerse myself in the
in the
environment.
book. Yes, that's exactly how I feel. It's right there in my ear, and I always feel like I'm gonna miss something if it's playing out loud. Like I just my
The
focus
way I
isn't up.
like it in my ear, though, I like both of them when I'm playing it in my ear. I want to drown everything out. I like both
Yeah.
earpieces in.
Yeah, I
Well,
love
how
being
about
able to drown it out when I'm working.
does
Yeah.
anybody because I sleep with my book, so I fall asleep. Does anybody ever fall asleep and wake up and the book's over and then you have to go figure
Yeah,
Oh
out
and
where
God,
to
I
yeah.
Oh
am
yeah, I
not
did it yesterday.
mindful. I am not mindful enough or proactive enough to even set my
to hit
sleep
The sleep
timer.
timer,
sleep
yes.
I'm not.
timer.
I am
That's
not,
all
and
you
I
have
just
to
wake
I
up and just
know.
listen and
Yeah,
go
we
back.
done been told, but I still don't do it either.
I see how long you done read, what time it is. I got up like, okay, let me jump back a chapter or back.
No, but
You
it's so
know,
funny though because in the morning when I wake up, like, oh shoot, remember next time to push, or do a bookmark. I like to do a
right?
bookmark and then a sleep timer for an hour. But every time I forget. That's like the last thing on my mind when I
It would
lay
be so
down.
convenient. I think I done
Yeah,
got used to just doing it my way. Just like,
yeah.
okay, let me take the book back to where it
But
sounds
then
familiar.
yeah, and because you go back to where you remember. If I don't remember, I'll just keep going back, keep going back, keep going
Yeah,
back.
I
So
usually like start the chapter over because it kind of gives me a refresher anyway from where
yeah,
I stopped listening. I'm like, okay, that's
but
what
that
was going
depends
on,
on
girl,
if I haven't slept past 4 chapters. Like that
yeah,
depends.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That
Usually I'm going back.
depends.
If
I
I
have to go
started
back
at
a little
three
bit.
hours and the book's nine
Right.
hours and it's over
Oh
it's the few
yeah.
chapters I'm going back through. So
Yeah. And if those chapters are like 20 minutes, 30
yeah,
minutes, like
right.
okay, I need to
Yeah.
go back an hour or two at a time. Like, wait a minute.
So is anybody reading anything good before we jump into our selection? Anybody read any good books this month?
Hmm. I've been reading a lot of good books on Kindle. I get my Kindle on. It's books I'm waiting on that don't come out to the top of the year
Do
that I'm
those
looking
books
forward to.
differ from what's on Audible and Bar, GB?
No.
Are they the same
They
books?
just they're just not with the voice. They're just,
not with narrators.
not with
Oh,
narrators. No.
oh.
But
So it
everything that's on
uses your
Audible is on
voiceover.
Kindle.
I
Yeah.
Okay.
felt
Well, I use my Alexa even on the phone on my app. I have
Mm,
Alexa reading it,
okay.
and Alexa reads so much different than having your Siri read it.
Do you
mm.
Uh,
feel like it's harder for you to concentrate when you have a speech synthesizer read it, like Alexa or whatever program
no,
you're
I've
running?
gotten used to it, and if you just really pay attention to the tone in the books that you read, Alexa reads with emphasis.
Mm.
If the
Oh.
words are portrayed to be crying or sorrowful or upset or hostile, she reads that way. And Siri just
Oh.
plainly reads text. So it
Mm.
feels more familiar. And I even find myself being able to hear the difference in characters. And it's still just Alexa, but it reads like that. You can feel the different character voices when it's still just Alexa because she reads with
Okay,
emphasis.
here's my thing, GB. My question for you
Mhm.
about that. Can
Yes.
we speed it? Because I do like 150,
Yes, you
175. Some
can.
can we change the speed?
Yes, you can.
Okay, because I cannot stand some of these books that just are so slow in talking.
And
So,
I tell the Alexa just read such and such book on Kindle.
mm,
And if
okay,
it's on my app, all I gotta do, if it's the last thing, once you activate it through Alexa,
it'll say the
all of it
speed.
pops up on the app while you're out and about. And you can
Oh.
even, Alexa even works on the app while you're on about, like I could just open the app and be like, Alexa, continue my book on Kindle. And she'll just start
Oh.
playing it. And she'll just start playing it
Okay.
where I left off reading it at home. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's
Yeah.
good, you know. It's
Okay.
good. Yeah. So
Okay.
give it a shot. And this everything you can get on Audible, you can get on there. It's the same thing. And they have where you can if you have a book like the book we just read,
Mhm.
they have it where it syncs with Audible as well and will read the Audible version on Audible, even if you're purchased it on Kindle.
Oh,
Once you
wow.
purchase it, it's across all your
Devices.
Amazon
Oh.
devices. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, GB, I've been telling you this for years that I'm going to use Kindle. I still have not done it. I don't know
Yeah,
why,
they
but
Yeah,
she
I
let
Give
me
it a
listen
shot because
once.
listen, I was the Alexa Kindle hater. I was a hater. I was the mascot. Like I can't get with it.
Yeah.
And they tweet Alexa and she, oh, but I'm sorry. Why are you hollering at me? And
Yeah.
move, I'm about to shoot you. Like you feel
Oh,
it. And it's not
okay.
so like just,
Monotone or,
yeah, it's not
yeah,
just like text. You don't
synthesized.
think it's
Mhm.
text when it's
Yeah.
reading it at all, So it
Okay.
She
matters.
let me listen once and I was like, oh, okay.
I
I
could do
still have
that.
not done it though.
Yeah, me neither.
But it did settle me more to let me know it wasn't so bad.
I would
Yeah.
play something for you guys, but I have Urban going. I don't know. Much too soon. That wouldn't be the right introduction.
Okay.
What
All
are you
Much too
listening to over
soon.
right.
there, Gabby?
Girl,
Right.
it's
Well,
a
she
whole
said,
bunch of drama, girl.
oh,
Okay. It's a whole bunch of
okay.
drama.
All right. Well, are you ladies ready then to get into our book selection for the
Well,
month?
I'm sorry. Anybody else been reading anything? No one else said
Oh,
anything. Anybody else been reading anything? I'm sorry.
no,
Um,
that's okay.
I've
Trisha.
been reading a series called The Elementalists. I cannot
Mm.
for the life remember the author.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry, but it's actually been pretty good. There's like 5 books out so far. It's
What
Mm.
kind
type?
of a
Yeah,
What
what is it?
genre?
it's a young adult book. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Oh.
paranormal where like he suddenly understands the elements and like he can like kind of use them. Like he
Ah.
understands fire, so
Mm.
suddenly fire can't hurt him. That's like his first power. Like
Mm.
they try to like explode the lab he's in, and like suddenly he's like breathing fire because he understands fire, and like he's able to control it, helps the people get out of the building, but fire doesn't touch him, kind of
I
thing.
like the way that sounds. So is the Elements book 5,
There's
or
5 books. I can
that
send
the
you
name of the
the link.
series? Or I'm trying to
Yeah,
figure
that's
out
the
that
name
because
of
you.
the series.
Oh, okay, okay,
The
okay,
first book is called The Quest.
okay. I would like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
like
does sound
it sounds
interesting.
like it got a lot going on, and I would like that.
yeah,
Yes, that is. And
really.
I am reading a book and I have not finished it, but I'm not going to say much about it, Christina, because we have some plans in the future for it to be a book selection. But it is actually from, her name is Sabrina Greenlee, and she is actually I don't know if she's visually impaired or totally blind, but she is one of us amongst our community and wrote a book about her life. And
Mm.
it is just it's and if you guys remember, I don't like what is it called?
Biographies,
I
memoirs.
yeah, I don't like those type of books. But she's written this book in a way it's like I can't even tell it's her story. It's almost like fiction, but knowing that it's a
Hmm.
true story, it's so awesome. And so I'm hoping that we can do a book selection in the future with this book. What's the name of the book, Christina? Just in case anybody does want to read it.
So, I do
Oh,
believe
and I'm good. Mhm.
you say you're good.
Mhm. Mhm.
with something else. Okay. So yeah, we definitely talked about possibly making that the selection, but the name of it is Grant Me Vision, and yeah,
Yes.
she is now completely blind.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it tells
Yeah.
her whole story, but it's a really good book.
Yeah, it's not done in the auto. I mean, it's almost like, because we read them all the time. We listen to fiction books, and the person is telling the story of what's going on. So it's like any type of that type of book where it's what is it, first person, told in a first person
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's I mean, and just knowing that this stuff really happened. I mean, I haven't even finished it, but I'm like, oh my God, oh wow, oh, and I'm like,
The narrator did it real good justice, definitely.
she
Like
did. She
I
did.
really
Mm-hmm.
originally thought it might have been Sabrina reading this, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
because she tells it as if it's her own story.
Right. Exactly.
Is
And it
it an
hits different.
Audible?
It
Or-
is.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
it is. And it hits different knowing that it's a true story. I mean, that's the difference in it for me, is like, yes, I've read books like this, but knowing they're fiction is one thing, but then hearing this, knowing that this has really happened to somebody's life, it's a whole different angle. So I will switch if autobiographies are done this way, I will read them all day long. But this is the only type I will enjoy reading. So
I've read a few others that were similar to that
done
type of
this
story.
way.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because like I read the 50 Cent book. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, was that the same format? The same
Yeah,
way?
it's him. It's him actually
Oh,
telling this
wow.
one. So
Okay, I
yeah,
want to read that for
I read
sure.
that.
Yeah.
It,
That
it
sounds
was pretty
good.
good, and it had some good wisdom that I like that he shared with people in there.
Oh, okay. Okay. So see, there's more than one type of autobiography. So like that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Anyone else?
Just real quick, I did not get a lot of books read in this past month because the first book I picked was like as long as 4 books, and that was the second book in the Anne Rice Mayfair Witches trilogy called Lasher. That woman is depraved, and I don't know how she didn't get canceled. That's all I'll say about that.
Oh
Oh
my
wow.
gosh. Wait, but
If it,
how long was that?
oh my gosh, like 30 hours, I think.
Oh my
Like
gosh. Cynthia's
it's
always saying she likes long books, and
I
30, there's
do.
30,
yeah,
there's
but Anne
30.
Treasuries
Rice, I
those
don't
type
think she's
books too.
everyone's cup of tea. She writes about a lot of like supernatural things and she gets dark with it. I mean, I'm talking like grotesque, depraved, perverted.
Ew.
I
Oh
was not
yeah.
Yeah.
expecting that. And for me
Yeah.
to say
Vampires and
that,
stuff.
it has
I've
to be
Yeah.
read some
really
Anne Rice
radical for me to
before.
say that because I'm pretty,
Pretty
dark.
open. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
some
I
Yeah.
of
read
those
a really good book
vampires.
after that called We Begin at the End. It was by Christopher Whitaker, and I loved it so much. I would call it a drama.
Mm.
It had about 5 or 6 twists in the end that I didn't see coming. I saw
Ooh.
1 or 2 and I thought that's how it was going to play out, but it just kept going. I was like, whoa, revelation after revelation. So I'm really looking
Ew.
forward to reading a new book by him called All the Colors of the Dark.
Oh.
And
That
Okay.
sounds
just a
interesting.
quick tip, I'm not an Apple um universe person. I don't have Apple products or I don't have that any of the equipment from Apple, the phone, the iPad. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have any of that. So I don't have access to Bard unless I were to like contact the Library of Congress and get the player.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Mm-hmm.
I've learned from a woman through the Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired in New York is that if you have Libby, there's a couple places in the United States where you can get a digital library card, like Chicago. So I
Mm.
went and got a digital library card, even though I've never been to Chicago. And
Mm.
I'm able to use Libby through the Chicago Library, which has way more books available. So just,
Wow.
Oh.
yeah, just as a tip for anybody listening that is also an Android user that wants free books, I went and I just put in the address of Art Museum in Chicago,
Mm.
and so that was my home address, and I got a digital library card, and I
Wow.
started out being like 680 in line for this book, and there's 63 copies, so it looks really popular. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be good, so maybe it will
Oh,
be.
wow. Okay. And that's free. So
Yeah.
that is a good way to do that. Awesome. That's a good tip for our listeners. And maybe one day you'll come over to the right side and leave.
I can't afford it.
And I
I don't
know, right?
I don't
I
know
know.
how y'all do it.
Yeah.
I can't afford it.
Look,
So,
look, Rihanna, I'm just like you. If I got my phone free, and if I hadn't gotten it free, I would not have an Apple. I had a phone that was $19.99 that I used for years, and I mean price $19.99. I don't mean it was from 19.99, and I used it till it didn't work anymore. So I understand.
but for
It's
real,
okay.
every blind
Android.
person brags about Apple having the best screen reading software, the best accessibility. So it's not that I'm not interested. I just, can't
It's
make it
Well,
okay.
happen.
I'm an
well,
Android girl
Rianne,
too.
I'm going to find you some resources and tips because a lot of states have programs where they give free or vouchers for phones. So I am going to research and get back to you on that one.
I
And
believe you.
I think
Because,
Trish is in
yeah,
your same boat too, because I think she's still an Android user.
I am.
Well,
yeah, hook us up.
yeah, I know Texas has one, Trish. So
Trish, yeah.
I'll find some resources and send them to you guys because there are programs out there that do assist with that.
Excellent.
All right, ladies. Okay.
Cynthia, are you
Yes.
ready?
Yes. Yes.
All right, so let's
I'm
jump
excited to
into.
talk about this book.
I know. So let's
so
jump
excited.
into it. Cynthia, go ahead and tell us your book, a little bit
Yes.
about it, and then take it away.
Yes. I'm so sorry. One of my devices was talking and I didn't want to have that all in our recording. Let me see here. So our book this month was called The Stranger Behind You, and it is by Carol Goodman. And there wasn't a lot in the synopsis of the book. It just said that a reporter writes a story about a sexual predator, or someone who did some pretty nasty things to women, and he's kind of like a highfalutin guy, like he's the owner of a newspaper. And the night that the story comes out, the reporter, her name's Joan, she gets attacked in her apartment, and the book kind of takes off from there. That's kind of like in the first few minutes of the book, and from there, some pretty interesting things begin to happen to Joan, as well as there's a parallel storyline about another lady who lived like way back when sometime. So there's a parallel storyline going on with her that is similar or has some parallels or some things in common with Joan's situation of trying to bring down someone who's not a nice person or a nice guy who has abused women. And I guess I will leave the summary at that. And I had some questions just for you ladies here on the call. And my first one was, typically we start with kind of like an overall opinion of the book. And I want to hear from everyone kind of what you thought of the book overall. And then maybe we'll unpack some of the more interesting aspects of the book. So whoever wants to go first, we'll just kind of just jump in there, informally, and just tell us kind of what you thought overall. Cynthia, I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
I didn't look to see what genre of book this was considered. Was it
thriller? Mine said thriller. Thriller, suspense, maybe psychological thriller.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. It definitely gave me more of a psychological thriller, so that's what I wanted to see what it was actually categorized as.
Yeah,
okay.
It had some blood and guts in there, but a lot of things that happened in here were more things that were not in the mind, but you know what I mean. It was like people messing with people's heads and things. But there was some pretty nasty, a couple of little nasty scenes too, with the blood and guts and everything. So I want to know what everybody pretty much thought of it.
I thoroughly enjoyed the read, actually. Just looking at it originally, because I'm one that does not like scary type movies and books and stuff, so the title of it made me think, I don't know, am I gonna be scared afterwards? But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this book. And yeah.
All right. So we'll go Gabby.
Gabby's having issues.
Oh,
Okay.
is she? Okay.
Someone
Re-
could jump in if they feel like.
Rianne.
I thought it was an entertaining read. I was annoyed at certain parts, but
Sounds like you, Rianne. You are annoyed at most things,
Mhm.
but I love that about you.
sorry. I can't
No,
help it.
I
I have
love
a
it.
very analytical brain, and I pick stuff apart. So I was entertained though. I did not ditch out. I finished the book. I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
Trish.
I only had one moment when I'm like, what are you thinking? Otherwise, loved it. Absolutely loved it.
All right.
What about you, Miss Victoria?
I'm like Rianne. There was a lot of points where I was very like irritated with some
Of
stuff.
course.
And then I'm always the one, but it was a little on the slow side for me. It was just a little, it dragged on a little. Like I'm just like, hurry up with the, because I mean although there was different things kind of creepy and I mean creepy for me because you guys know I'm just like creepy with a lot of stuff. But so there was like a lot of like mysterious things that I wanted to hurry up and know what
Figure
the
out
heck. Yes,
what the heck is
exactly.
going on?
So yeah, so in that aspect, I did enjoy because I like to be trying to figure out stuff. But then I found I was like losing focus because I was still trying to figure out what the heck was going on. So,
Oh,
but
okay. So your mind was trying to
yeah,
unravel parts of the
right.
book while other
And
parts of the book
yes,
was getting away from you.
exactly. And I felt like I was missing important stuff because I wouldn't let the other stuff go and stuff. So, but there was a lot, but it was interesting. And I did not, I didn't give like Rianne. I did not give up. I kept through. It was not worth like that. There's books that if I stop reading a book, that means it's just, there's no hope for it. So
Yeah,
there
you
was
just can't.
definitely, yeah, but this one was not like that. And I did enjoy the read.
And for me, like you, I thought it was a little slow.
Mm-hmm.
I've read all kinds of thrillers, and this one wasn't bad by any means. It was a pretty good book. I also hung in there till the end. But I felt like it probably could have been a few hours shorter than it could have been like an 8-hour book and would have been just as good.
Yes,
To
exactly.
me, it could have been an 8-hour book and been wonderful and still had all the same
Right.
punch or elements that it had in this book. I feel like.
Yeah, because it did seem like it was drawn out quite a bit. Like, to get to that high point at the end, it's like it took a long time to get to that.
It did.
I feel like it could have been a shorter. Like I said, it would have been a really good 8-hour book. It really would have been.
Right.
I feel like about three of those hours was just, I wouldn't say fluff. I mean, they were just maybe like filler add in.
Yeah.
Not that they weren't maybe important to the author, but yeah, it could have been a shorter book.
Right.
My next question, and I don't know if Gabby was able to come back and give.
I'm back. I'm sorry.
Oh, she's back.
Okay.
I was having technical issues. It wouldn't bring me off mute.
No problem.
You did the right thing, Gabby. Leave out and come back in. There you go.
Yes.
So what is your thing?
Yeah. I like the book. I love, for the record, I love psychological suspense and thrillers. So it was annoying. At first I was mad because I couldn't figure out why she couldn't see. And I'm like, it's 4 weeks later. Like, what's going on with you? Like, and then you don't think you need to go to the doctor? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that really irked me.
Like, what are you talking about? And the wife really got on my nerves. Like,
yes.
I'm like, so you already know he was a cheater and he has these capabilities. Like, you just, they lying? Come on now. Like, it was a little weird right there, but
no,
I
everybody's
loved it.
lying. Everybody's lying.
Everybody's
my husband
lying.
my husband was not, that's not him. He would never do that. But yet she has proof of everything he has done.
Right.
Yeah.
And like it made no sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was good. I like when it started coming together, and it was kind of slow, but it
Yeah.
picks up, and when
Right.
it comes together, it's like, what?
Yeah.
That wasn't
I
real.
think that's what saved the book for me, Gabby, is the author was
Really?
able to bring everything together to a conclusion
Uh-huh.
that I found to be satisfactory.
Yeah, it
She was
was.
able to tie some parts together that I just didn't necessarily tie together myself, or I guess I wouldn't have. Not that it was a twist or anything. I guess it was meant to be, but it wasn't the kind of twist that's like what like that. But it was more so like a satisfactory close, to everything, like tie everything up in a pretty bow kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I
Right.
still
but
had a few questions at the end though, like because my main thing or one of my main things was what was the real significance of Sylvia? Like because she seemed to me like she really could have had a deeper part in that whole
she could
thing.
have.
And then the fact that the author made the doormen both seem very weird and strange at first
Yeah,
too. Like
she
what
did.
was
yeah.
that purpose?
Because they
They
were
and they
Yeah.
suspicious of men.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think that was just all color for the book.
Smoke and
Like,
mirrors, like
yeah,
Yeah.
like kind of like
a
painting a certain
redirection, trying
picture
to
or trying to paint us into a corner about,
Who
this
about the
character is this
right.
and this
Mm-hmm.
character is that, without suspecting anything deeper about them.
Yeah.
Without
Or
paying
like what
attention what was really going on. It
Right.
was
yeah,
like
like you
smoke and
said, smoke
mirrors to
and
me.
mirrors kind of thing.
Yeah, and then who
Yeah.
was really in the fog? Like, what was the significance really of the fog and the smell of the bleach
I
and all
felt
that
like the
stuff?
place was
Like,
cursed.
yeah, because
Yeah.
the
I
thing
think
was
that's what
Joan.
That's what that
It
was
was
about.
it was kind of understandable that Joan, smelled it and felt it later on. We figured
Right.
out why she did, but Melissa also experienced the stuff too. So like, wasn't nothing
Do
wrong
you
with her
guys
head.
remember when she found the nail? Like, remember when she
The
ran up to the
fingernail, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like,
that was
and
never really.
that was
I'm
never
assuming it was one of the ladies who was there, like in the 30s or whatever.
yeah,
yeah,
Maybe
Uh-huh.
yeah.
like
One of the
clawed their
girls.
Trying to
way.
escape out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's. I mean, I had to draw that
and that
conclusion
that was
myself
Melissa
because
that found that, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yeah,
yeah,
she
yeah.
found
Melissa.
So I believed it was too because she was the one that ended up finding the remains afterwards too.
yeah, yeah. And just so
That's
our listeners,
crazy.
I guess the apartment, the complex,
The
I guess it
The
was
building.
the
refuge.
building was
The
like a
refuge
refuge.
building.
And years earlier, and what was they call it something? The
It
name,
was
I guess
called the
Magdalene
the
refuge.
Laundry.
no,
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
something in
that part.
Ireland that they called it something.
A
Remember in
Magdalene
Ireland? Yeah,
laundry.
a Mandelic
Yeah,
laundry.
Magdalene Laundry.
I've never
For
heard of that before.
girls that
Me neither.
got into trouble in one way or another.
I
Mhm.
think it's
So
a
that
reference to Mary Magdalene.
it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mm,
yes.
Oh.
mm.
It
Was
stated
the
that because
prostitute.
the prostitution
I'm
part
mad I
of it,
didn't catch
most
that
of the
when I
women
was hearing
came
it.
from that.
I didn't catch that either.
I'm mad I didn't catch that when I was
It
hearing it.
actually
Like,
Yeah.
said it in the book. It
It
actually
did.
kind of spoke that out. It talked about
Mm.
Mary Magdalene and prostitution and stuff, and
right,
that's where
It
it was
right.
did.
named from.
And
Yeah, but
that's why they named
yeah.
that building, or that's why they turned that building into that. It was kind of like it started in Ireland and it came across the sea, and
And it
a lot
was
of
like,
Irish
yeah.
people in New York too. So they
So it was
made
like
Mm-hmm.
a prison, like where they kept
yeah,
young girls and they kept them
food,
locked in there.
yeah, yeah,
Terrible.
Right, as basically like a punishment. It was
Yeah.
basically ran by nuns and stuff
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
punish
Mm-hmm.
them for sinning,
yeah,
for
Yeah.
living those
yeah.
Right.
type of
Or
lifestyles. So it locked them in to keep them from having access to get to the men or whatever that they
I
used
thought
to.
that was I mean, I guess an interesting, side note
It
for
was
the
to hide
story.
them.
I thought that
Yeah.
was pretty interesting.
me
Like why?
too. I was very much interested in that, and
Yeah.
as I was reading about that, I was thinking to myself, I'd love to hear a
Hear
book
that
that
story. Yeah,
features this
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of a place with
Yeah.
these
The
types of
different girls.
situations. I would
Yes.
read that book.
I
Right. And
liked that side plot
mhm.
more than the original
The
plot.
book.
More than the
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
plot.
Yeah.
It was really interesting, and I had a couple of questions, kind of bringing us back. This is about the main plot, though. I
No.
want to know,
Okay.
and Gabby, you touched on this already. What did y'all think about Melissa, which is the wife of the accused? Was his name Casper? By
Cass,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cass,
the
yeah.
wife of the accused, being somewhat of an enabler. And my question was about just being an enabler in general. Like, how many of us play that role without even knowing it, and then some of us knowingly play the role of an enabler. And that's what I thought she was, especially at first. She was just like, well, no, not my husband. Or and she didn't want to have her life disrupted.
Yeah.
Her cushy,
Right.
rich woman life disrupted and things like that. And so I think she did somewhat turn a blind eye to some things when it wasn't convenient for her.
Yeah, I agree with that. And what you said about not even knowing, there are some things that women know, but because of the consequences of knowing, they choose to act like they don't know.
Yeah.
And I think she fit into that category very well. There's no way that you cannot know that the man that you're living with has this many secrets.
Well, I'm gonna say in different statuses in society, it's kind of where some of the women are left out of the know a lot more. Like she was saying, he handled all the finances, so there was no way for her to know that he was paying off these people, that he had been borrowing against their insurance policies and all kinds of stuff that would have been red flags to us. But she definitely was not in the loop on that type of stuff. And then it's also said that in certain societies like that too, that regardless of what those other men are doing, like you're saying, she wanted to keep that cushy lifestyle, so a lot of them stand beside their husbands regardless, and they play that dutiful wife role,
It reminds me
to
of
keep it
Michael
together.
Corleone from The Godfather, where he's like, to his wife, he says, I told you to never ask me about my business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The business side is one thing, and I mean that could be common for some, but the cheating side is a whole nother. And I think that's what was the blind eye too, because business trips and being gone and disappearing and all this stuff. Like, he actually was pretty good at it though, because there was a lot of hotel receipts she found that were during the day, where she
maybe
would
on
always
lunch
like,
breaks or
yes,
something.
and they were. So it's like, because she even said at one time, and she said, this was when that, but I know for a fact he was home with me that night. Remember? There was times when she did say. So I think the more crafty, and not every woman is, private eye, investigative. I'm going to find out what you're doing type of thing, because number one, she's enjoying her life and she's not trying to, make any waves to where they're at. But she also, to me, when it's like that, I don't want to say you reap what you sow, but she should not be surprised that all of this has come out, slapped in the face, because it was being done for years. And hey, this is what happens when you do turn that blind eye, or when you don't investigate a little bit more, or when you are locked out of the loop of spending and finances and all that stuff too.
And I've been that woman of turning the blind eye, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But being that person who enabled without without really realizing it, but on some level knowing that I was just turning the other way. And sure enough, the ending was so much more ugly and messy and horrible, where if I would have stopped it before I let it get that far, it wouldn't have gotten to that level.
Yeah.
But because
it hit
I
you in the
wasn't
face.
ready to and it wasn't because I had such a cushy life, but I think we all have different reasons why we allow or enable things, and some of them are loneliness, especially in a relationship.
Who wants to start over?
Right. That thing when they say, when you get rid of this one, you don't know what's next, or what you might
whether the devil you know or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. The devil
the evil is better than the unknown evil.
So and there's a lot of, you know, situations that we find ourselves in. And I mean, not to go off on a complete tangent, but especially some of us who are visually impaired and women, and we've talked about this in other book club meetings too, where we accept things sometimes that we should never accept, or we turn a blind eye to things we should never accept, because while it's already hard out here as a woman, it's even harder a lot of times when you're a woman with a disability.
Yeah.
Well, I think that speaks a lot to learning and knowing your own worth, as
Self-worth,
well
yes.
as not losing yourself in a relationship, because women have that tendency to focus on the family and the structure and what's best for the overall, where we forget about what we need for us. Like she said, she went to journalism school just like they did. That's where they were all at together. You know, so she had a career, and she let that all go once they got married and had the kids, and then once he got his trust fund, she was like, oh well, I guess I
I'll
don't
just
have to
stay
go to work.
home.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And another thing too that plays in that part is and a lot of us don't even realize it, but our self-esteem can play a part. Yeah, our self-esteem. And I even personally in my life had a time where my self-esteem was just so low, and I did not know my self-worth. And so we think that maybe that's all we can get. We art, because we look at ourselves and don't value ourselves, like Christina said, that self-worth. We don't demand what we deserve. So
I've been there too. I'm not ashamed of that, because it's made me a better woman.
Absolutely.
Today. It's made me a much better woman. And I don't know if anyone wanted to comment on that, but I had another question that's kind of in a different direction, but I think it's very relevant to this book. It talked about the Me Too movement, and we all were very much aware of that. And I just wanted to just get you all's opinion on Me Too, in terms of, do you think some people abused that movement and weaponized it in terms of revenge against men? And I'm not saying some men didn't do some horrible things to women, but do you think some women took that and made it into their own personal crusade because they wanted to get someone canceled or whatever it might have been?
Can I ask a question though, Cynthia?
Go ahead.
And please forgive my ignorance, because I am a woman, by all means. But what exactly, I mean, specifically, is the Me Too movement? Like, what is that exactly? What does that mean?
It was the speaking up against sexual harassment in workplaces and just overall period. Like, it was so much that was brushed up under the rug before, because we thought we, as women, we had to accept certain things in order to not be that one who caused trouble, to try to push our way to the top,
Okay, so it could be looked at, like Cynthia, like you're saying, like women just like bashing all men, without even just.
Well, like where I saw what she's asking about, do we think people went too far? I look at it as the society has changed so much now with the whole council culture and everything. Like, everybody is so overly sensitive these days.
Yeah.
And I don't want to discredit anybody's feelings. They're valid in their own way. However, I think that a lot of people have gone too far. I can accept a compliment from a guy without feeling like he is sexually harassing me.
Right.
I think that someone should be able to tell me I look nice, and things like that. So it's like, now it's so that Me Too movement made it so quick for people to say sexual harassment. Any little thing can be sexual harassment, and people don't even want to be too nice to you anymore,
Yeah, where you can have a genuinely nice man that just wants to tell you you look pretty today, who could then be turned around and say, oh, well, he sexually harassed me, and really he was just giving a genuine compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it became a trend after the Harvey Weinstein scandal.
Yeah.
Right.
So since all these big name celebrities were having the courage to come out publicly and tell their story to come forward, it gave a lot of other women the courage to finally do so. So I really saw the beauty in it at first, but then it quickly turned into something ugly where it was being abused for sure.
Yeah. Weaponized.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, people
And I just
be like, just you wait.
Yeah.
I dare you kind of stuff.
Yeah. Instead of, and I don't ever want to water down or minimize the abuse that some women did go through, you know, even back then, even today.
Not at
even.
all. Yeah.
But it's just like some women, I think, took it and made it into something it should never have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And so I just want to get you all's opinion, because these women in this
I just
book,
think people are humans, and they're gonna, when they see a moment of opportunity or something, they're gonna
Yeah,
take
you're
it.
right.
I don't know.
You're
And
right.
in this society today, like everything is a come up. How can I gain? How can I be better than where I'm at now? You know what I'm saying? And sadly, it gets abused. Like, you know, and people take advantage of everything. You know, not just the Me Too, but anything. People take advantage of it for a gain for themselves and don't realize it. Some people just attention seekers. And you know, and vindictive and malicious, and to take the opportunity to make it their own when it shouldn't even be that deep. You know, it's a lot of factors to it, and it's just crazy because it's ran rapid.
But we're changing society like generationally, and I think that a lot can be said for just teaching young women and young men healthy boundaries. And you can assert those healthy boundaries with another individual without having to, you know, ruin that person's life.
Without having to get them canceled or anything. And I think the women in this book, a lot of them probably did have some genuine, you know, they were abused by this man.
Absolutely.
But I'm not gonna say, and you know, this is a book, of course, this is fiction, but I'm not gonna say with these 4 or 5 coming forward, 10, 20 more wouldn't come forward and be like, oh yeah, well, when I went by him in a restaurant, he pinched my ass, or you know, I mean, I don't know, you know, like more will just come forward to try to just capitalize, like you said, Gabby, on something that was very genuine that happened to these, maybe just a handful of women. And I have another question. You know, I'm the book boss, so I'm full of questions. I wanted to talk about something that really, really hurt me. Well, not hurt me, but you know, was hurtful in the book. And that was the betrayal of Joan, of everybody.
Simon.
Everybody was really kind of betrayed.
Everyone got betrayed in this book.
It was terrible.
Backstabbers.
Terrible.
Except Lily, in Lily's story. Nobody got betrayed in Lily's story.
What?
Yeah, they did.
You're joking, right?
Did.
Who got betrayed in Lily's story?
Well,
that cop Frank was a double dirty crosser.
Nope.
He was
ended
not.
up not
He
being
was
him.
not.
He
was not a bad guy.
Yep. Remember, she said, and on the rooftop, it wasn't him. He actually came to save her. He came to save her.
But didn't he slip them a note to get off at a different train stop where they were ambushed with a guy with a gun?
No, it just happened to be bad timing.
Yeah,
because see, that's another thing that annoyed me about the book.
Because if it wasn't Frank, who was it? Because we never knew who.
Actually, we did. There was a story that was talking about a person who became the mayor, and he got ran out of office because he had ties to the mob.
So it was him? Because I do remember that.
Yeah.
So
I think it was Eddie's people, because she kept talking about how some of them were on the train with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then when she was reflecting on what happened, she was saying she couldn't help but think the parallel when it was happening to her, that it was Frank that lifted up the skylight.
Yeah, she thought he did come, but he got shot protecting her.
Yes, that's
fell
how
off the roof with her.
When they found the remains of both of them together, he got shot protecting her, and they both fell off the roof at the same time.
That's what I mean. Nobody betrayed anybody.
Okay.
Well, there was a lot of betrayal of Joan in particular, because I I never liked Simon. I don't know if you all did, the
No, I didn't
He
like
owner
was
of the
him.
newspaper.
I
yeah,
I never
felt he
liked
was.
him.
I
He
felt
was
he was
yeah,
questionable
somebody to
from the
be
beginning.
watched.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
His
felt he was somebody
motives.
to be
Mm-hmm.
watched.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought so
He
too.
was suspect from the something
Yeah.
about him was just smarmy and opportunistic, and
Yes.
he was using
Revenge.
her.
I think he wanted
He
revenge.
Yeah, he
definitely.
was
Yeah, he
using
was too
her.
convenient.
Told you
Yeah.
from the beginning. Grudge is the
Mm-hmm.
And,
best.
and how Sylvia presented it to her the night that she released the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't
And
like
it
her
kind of
either.
had me looking at Seal different, because
Yeah.
it's
Right.
like she's being like,
She was
saying
kind
a
of
But you
two
little
look at it,
faced.
he tried
Mm-hmm.
he
vague.
no, she was
Yeah,
trying to tell them, but he at the same time was trying to discredit Sylvia by
Mm-hmm.
saying she's everybody's
yeah, but the
friend.
way they presented Sylvia as like this, you know, hit the nose to the air, I got one up
Oh,
on
okay, like
you, kind of,
yeah.
it had you kind of thinking like, okay, what's her MO?
But do you remember when
Like,
she went and called, um,
Melissa.
yeah, she went and called
I'll
Melissa.
let her
So
know.
I felt like I felt like something was up with her. I didn't like how she played both sides of the fence.
yeah,
No,
it
and
made
she
you think
That's
like she
recommended
because
was
this
she
devil
book.
was
advocate or
actually
something.
friends with all of
Yeah,
those,
and
like
Yeah.
I
Melissa
think
and
it was
Wally
meant to
now.
be taken as smoke and mirrors to us, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
later
Right.
came out that she just was,
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
So
I
what was
think
up with her recommending the same realtor to
Yeah.
Joan
That
and
was yeah.
Melissa?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
now that
Yeah.
mm-mm,
was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm,
Flynn?
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Now
And I know
Wally evil.
I
I
think
Mm.
know
that she originally went to tell the other people because she knew that Simon actually had an ulterior motive, that he didn't do it because he really wanted to out this guy for it because he was wrong. He
Yeah.
did it out of
he had a
revenge, and
whole other
yeah.
nasty
Which one of the
agenda.
reasons why I think he wanted her to keep it quiet for the whole 3 years.
Yes,
Remember, he did
definitely.
not want
Mm-hmm.
her
And
to
definitely didn't want her
tell.
to tell Sylvia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I
He
thought,
was of all the people in the book, I dislike Simon the most. Of all the people in the book. And
Mm.
oddly enough, of all the people that I liked in the book, I liked Melissa the best. And
Oh.
it's the
Yeah.
weirdest thing.
the dumb one. You like that one?
Melissa the wife. I like the wife
Yeah.
the best.
My
I
bad. I
kind
She
of
didn't.
saying
started
the dumb
liking
one.
her.
I guess I
I
like
started
Melissa because she redeemed herself. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
But she still was on the shits though.
Yeah.
She was
I
she was pissing me off. Like, come on
Yeah.
now.
She
Yeah, she
was.
annoyed
like
me a little
feel bad
Your
bit.
when the
ass is crushed, but you knew
came
you knew what you were dealing with, what you
Yeah.
were married to.
I
Yeah.
didn't like that
know.
aspect of Melissa, but I did like her get it done kind of like I want to take matters into my own hands. I guess I like
Yeah,
that part about
typical
Melissa.
privilege. I ain't got it. I'm gonna do it.
What
And
did
but
what did
how
you
dare
guys
you wrong me?
what did you guys think about the whole like suicide aspect of it with the son, with Wet and
How
the
oh
dad? Like,
the
yeah,
dad
oh,
that was
because
a
that was
coward.
horrifying.
I'm so mad he left everything
right. But remember
so just
he told his son, like when the son tried to commit suicide, remember? And he
yeah.
was like, that's the coward's way out.
Yeah, my goodness, how do you
And
And
say
I
then
that?
and then
yeah,
he
and I don't even
yeah.
like how she didn't even say nothing to the son when he exposed that to her.
Yeah, she
Like
defended
she was
him.
just
Remember, she
very
kept saying, he
weird to
loved you.
me.
See, he
Like,
loved you. See, he loved you.
yeah,
All this
she
other little
painted
stupid stuff.
like how are you still holding on to this man
Right.
integrity after
Yeah,
Yes.
death
no,
when he
there was
outlandishly
nothing good about that
Yeah.
yeah,
character.
like
And yeah.
Yeah,
it
but
couldn't have been
remember,
me. I couldn't have sat there and I gave my son some comfort after finding something
Yeah.
out like that. You still
Right.
defending this man in death when he wasn't
Yeah.
nothing to you.
Yeah.
but remember, it was all about him also saying it will upset your mother. You can't
Mm-hmm.
tell the secret
Yeah,
because it will upset
Mm-hmm.
your mother.
Yeah.
It was
Manipulation.
abused that
all about
child.
Mm-hmm.
that.
Manipulation.
That was
Yeah.
Yeah.
terrible.
So
Yeah.
do either of y'all think that maybe Melissa was just trying to do the best that she could to try to save her son because she knew that if she tore apart everything that he had believed in about his dad, that it would make him way more
I
vulnerable.
think
She
that
was
was a part of it, Christina. I do, and she even said it, but she went about it in such a messed up way.
That's
But I
because
think
she didn't know. She didn't know what.
I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, he was the root of many of their problems. And I feel as my son, I would have wanted to, I mean, like remove the problem and
instead of
let's get the help that we need with that.
yeah,
Like
she threw him out, but then she took him back, talking about she wanted to
exactly.
keep the family together.
Yeah,
She
but
thought that would make her
yeah.
son more stable.
And I don't think that was the right thing. I think the son already knew his dad was jacked up.
But
His
I guess
son,
she didn't know that the son knew.
yeah, and so for
She did.
that, well, she didn't. I don't think she wanted to know. Even if the son would have told her what every time the son told her anything, she was still trying to defend and make excuses for the dad. So even if he would have told her anything, I mean, I don't even know how that would have played out because
I don't know because she
but
was so adamant
yeah,
about that man. I
right.
just
And so I just feel like if my son is struggling, I think that he could have been better off if he at least got the 100% love from his mother and seeing that, the dad maybe was part of the problem and let's try to get you help and eliminate this
the
source.
dad.
Yeah. hmm I mean, not
Mhm.
that way, but I think that was very cruel of the dad how he
Yeah.
handled
Oh,
the
so
the
cool.
suicide. So,
So I couldn't even be upset that he was murdered. I mean, I guess I
yeah.
should have been, but
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it
was
didn't
Yeah.
really upset me.
I was happy
Yeah.
that they found out because I would hope that now she can go back and have the insurance, and stuff like that
Yeah.
to
Oh,
take
I
Yeah.
care
didn't
of
think
them.
about that. So
And
now she'll
also
be
the
She did.
financially stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the son too though, because the son who struggled with suicide, I thought that was good for him to know that his dad did not
Did not, yeah. Yeah.
abandon them in the way that he
He,
told him was cowardly.
yeah, yeah, that was
Real
good.
quick comment about the way Casper died. Now, prior to them finding out that he was drugged and pushed into the pool, she had mentioned that they found in his system after
That
the autopsy,
yeah.
like a whole lot of stuff, like a
Yes, a
whole
bunch of pills. I thought that
Yeah.
too.
She
two
did
kinds of
say
pills.
that.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
alcohol and
Xanax and
Xanax.
Ambien
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
So
something.
how are you
Mhm.
gonna slip a whole bottle of something in someone's drink?
Well,
Yeah,
I
because it was
mean,
a
depends on
lot.
how much it was because like she said they drugged her that night too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
But
thought they had measured it in the autopsy, like in his blood, that it was
well,
Right.
so many of this pill and so many of that pill.
That's what I'm saying. Like that was
but
a mistake.
who's to say how excuse me, who's to say how it was delivered? I mean, it may not have been maybe it was crushed up, maybe it could have been
I
liquid
think it was a
form.
combination of okay, so when Wally and the district attorney was coming over, they were bringing her Xanax and Ambien, right?
Yes.
So they could have been providing some for him also to help with the stress. And then here it comes. Simon put
Simon.
even
Hmm.
more in there.
Adding it to yeah,
So
he
it could
could
have
yeah.
added more.
I think it
Ah,
was
but
in
it
the
was a
drink.
lot.
I think they were in the drinks.
I think if
Yeah.
Right,
there was
definitely in
that
the
much,
drinks.
you
In
Mm.
the
taste it.
drink.
I don't know.
Yeah, but in the drinks and like you said though, he could have already been taking them too
I think
on
they were
his
mixed
own.
all.
Mhm.
They were taking some and then they were drinking it.
Yeah,
They
because I
were.
Yeah.
remember her saying she don't even remember taking it, and she's like, "I'm gonna have to remind myself to tell her I don't want any more of those," like
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it had took over her that night. So who knows?
Yeah.
Like they could have definitely overdosed him with it.
Wally was
Right.
terrible. She was a horrible best friend.
Oh
I
yeah,
actually felt something from her too.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
From the
Yeah.
jump. She kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I did not like her. I felt like she felt Melissa was beneath her,
Yeah.
you know,
Definitely.
and I felt like
It
um
showed in all the gestures she did
oh
with her.
yes, from the jump, right? And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like Melissa's she tried to make it seem like her best interest was at it, but
Yeah, and I
it
didn't.
was
It
never
was
Yeah.
that.
phony. And instead of
Yeah.
helping her best friend when she got into a situation, she was like, "Oh, I can help you sell all your clothes," and then ended
Yeah.
up
And then
keeping
and
some of them for
keeping it,
herself.
yes.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was just I
And,
just
Yeah.
and
didn't
see
like
that
Wally.
and see that just Melissa was See, that right there makes me think she has weakness in her
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
something.
Melissa
Like, there's something
definitely.
wrong with her.
Yeah.
Because why you didn't get the money? Why you didn't ask the girl for your money when she sold your
Yeah,
stuff
because
supposedly?
she would think these things and
Yeah.
express how she feels in her
In her
mental within
head.
herself.
Yes.
But you're not
Yes.
checking these people and letting them know what
Yes.
you're feeling like. And then
Yes.
you got the nerve to not be understanding to what you know your husband was, and to try to be
Yes.
See,
vindictive and revengeful
yeah,
for
'cause-
your husband, and you're still
yeah,
defending him, and definitely was crummy. Then you won't even speak up. Like, come on
And
now.
you know what, you guys? I hate when authors do that. Like they say in their heads what, oh,
they
I
would want
thought
to say out
this.
loud.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
I just went ahead and let her do it. I just
Mm-hmm.
went ahead and well then, you dummy, don't say it in your head if you're not gonna do it. Like, I don't even want to hear that, because at the end of the day, that shows me even
Yeah,
more
it's okay.
weakness.
It's okay. 3 chapters, but through the
Yeah,
whole
the whole
right,
right.
you never gained any confidence or strength or
Right,
backbone. Like, come
exactly.
on now, get real.
Exactly. That
Get
is
real.
so true.
I
See,
think
Yes.
some
Yes.
of the reason why she kind of like was following what Wally was saying, following what her husband was saying, was something that had to do with she was talking about when she was in college, and how what Casper was saying about, Simon and stuff, was when they were talking about when they were in college. They were talking about how both both her and Simon kept looking at
Like
Casper the same.
yeah, like
Like
they,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
they
like they
wanted to
both were
be
in love with him or
that's
something.
what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I thought it was gonna come out that Simon
Yeah.
was actually in love with him like
Yeah.
that.
but
I
Yeah.
thought
he was
I thought they really liked each other and were interested, and she just ended up with
With
Casper, and
Cass. Yeah.
that initiated
yeah,
the battle between the two men, and
Yeah.
you know.
but he was old money. She
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
new
new
money.
money.
Yeah.
And
And
Mm.
Simon was
Simon
just
was
poor.
no money.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was no
Right.
money. Yeah,
Right.
he was poor.
Well,
Wait, but it
at
say,
some point he
who you
had more
say,
money than them,
Simon?
because Simon was, remember, he was buying all the same clothes that Kaz had.
Yeah,
Simon's clothes were new
and dressing
clothes,
dressing up like it kind of
Kaz's
sound like
were,
him.
yeah, Kaz's were
Just
like passed
old
down
and
like
worn, and
generational. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
But Simon had, so when they got the
That
apartment and
makes
stuff, they
sense.
were saying Simon was the one funding stuff, and
yeah,
paying for
that
Mm.
is
stuff, because
true.
That
Kaz did
But
makes
he
not
got
have
the
his
money
sense.
money
from
yet.
somewhere, but I
Yeah.
don't know where, because
But
he
Yeah.
said that he
it
grew
makes
up
sense
poor, very
now
poor.
about Simon. Like, how
Yeah.
dare this beneath you
Yeah.
friend
Mm-hmm.
outdo you, outshine you,
And
and
when?
be
Yeah.
great and win.
Yeah.
No wonder he works so hard behind the scenes and being
Yeah.
devious. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
That's
Like,
true.
ego,
That
money, and everything.
Yeah,
Because, but
but
it also said that Casper got a trust kicked
Casper
in when
used
she
it.
was
when he was
That's what
30.
where his
30.
money came from. It
When
didn't
he
come
was
till he was
30.
30, because his family had money, but the daddy
right.
had
Yeah,
used all of that,
he
so that's
wasn't a
all he
good guy
had was the
either.
trust fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, his dad had like squandered the money away and was going after women and stuff. He
Yeah.
wasn't a
Right.
good guy
Oh, that's
either.
not
Yeah.
bad.
Huh. Fall, the apple doesn't fall far
No,
from the
it
tree, does
Sure doesn't.
it?
But Melissa
Sure
knew right
doesn't.
from the beginning she won Casper. She knew from the
Yeah.
moment she met him, I'm gonna play until I get him.
yeah, she wanted
Yeah.
him, not
Well,
Simon.
Mhm.
She
well,
said
then
that
how
to
do
Simon, that
we
she
get what we
purposely,
deserve? I guess we get what we deserve. So
yeah.
she went after that, and now look what she got. So I mean,
I can't
hey,
say she would have won with either one of them. I
I
mean,
Yeah,
know,
Simon was
right?
just as
I
Simon
crazy
was
know.
too. So.
horrible.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
maybe he wouldn't be this way if things turned out
If he
differently.
had
But
gotten Melissa, maybe.
yeah, maybe. I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Let
I
me
don't
think of my
know.
songs.
Yeah.
I
If you
wonder
play
which one of the
your
doormen.
cards right. What you
What'd you
say?
say?
I kind of wonder if one of the doormen. I can't remember his name off the top of my
I
head.
think
What
that's
I
who
don't know.
they
Wasn't
ended
he
up with,
Hector?
Irish or
because
something?
I watched
Enda.
more than
Was
I
Hector
think they
he
all
and
ended up
Inda.
together.
something?
Yeah.
I
Oh.
Inda and Hector. That's their
Inda,
names.
yeah,
Yeah,
Inda
Inda
yeah.
and
and
Hector.
Hector.
I
yeah,
think
I
Yeah.
they
want
all ended up together because they was on a train ride at
They
the end
sure
going to her
were.
mom's for Christmas and stuff. Like
Mm.
it
Well,
was
Oh.
it
Melissa
was
ended up with Hector, who I
yes.
thought was pretty hot.
Yes.
I
Mhm.
thought they'd be so cute together.
Yeah, she was throwing that little kitty
I
at him.
liked Hector.
So is that
Mm.
maybe why Indy was acting strange at the beginning, because he didn't know how to flirt all the way, and then she didn't know how to receive because she was not trusting of a man. So
Maybe
that was
so.
Right.
her image of him. She thought he was acting
Oh, is that the
strange.
picture that they were painting?
Well,
Okay.
I mean, they both were, because
It
they
makes
were weird
I can
acting.
see
I
it.
know. Yeah, they were weird
From
acting.
now, that was coming from her though, that he was acting weird.
Yeah.
Like that was her
Well,
recounting what he was doing. So maybe that's not what was really going on.
but I think that's what the author wanted us to. That's the where she was trying to
Yeah.
take us. She
She
wanted
was
us to
traumatized,
think
He
so
was
she was really
something.
really
hyper
fun.
vigilant.
Yeah, yeah, because if you look at it, I mean, all every time you looked around, both of those men were being very helpful
They
Yeah.
to
were.
those women. So, that
Yeah.
could have just been her view and how she was explaining to us that they were being strange, but they may not have ever did anything that was really strange.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe
They
they
Mm.
were just
said
normal
the what
guys who.
some of the things they said though were kind of weird. I remember he was like, I mean, it could be again the whole an innocent comment, but it could have been taken in the
Like
wrong
when he
way.
said,
Yeah.
"I'm always here."
Yes, exactly. That's all he said was
yeah,
I'm always here. But depending on the receiver, oh cool, thanks, you're always here. Or ew, okay, I'm always here. What is that? Like how she took it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
But
yeah.
it was just a innocent comment.
Yeah,
Right.
if you're
It
paranoid,
did make it
everything
seem
is
like to be like he was something to be suspicious of, and
Exactly. They wanted
like
us
he
to
really
think that.
thought undermined it of her,
Yeah.
or
Hmm.
looked at her like he could have had something up his sleeve. So
Yeah.
I guess that picture was portrayed,
Right.
you know. Yeah,
And they were
I
just
like it
normal
though.
guys. And they ended up just being. And but weren't both of those guys? Well, Joan was young, but not Melissa. It wasn't Hector quite a bit younger than Melissa. Like
Did they
no,
say? I don't think they ever really
no, because
I
said.
just
remember
had the
he had
impression that
strong
Hector was
daughter.
young.
He has
Why?
3 adult daughters though, so I don't think he was like
Maybe
too
he
too
wasn't
young.
young. Maybe it's
I
just
didn't take him
I got that
as yet that
impression. You're right. His
young.
daughters were like older. So maybe he was more in
Yeah,
line with
because
Think
they said
Melissa's
he put them
age.
all through college. So like,
I
Yeah,
think he
maybe.
was just a
And she was only
sexy older
48.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was. Yeah,
She was
I
yeah,
only
she did say
48.
48. You're right.
yeah.
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 Hmm.
So maybe Hector was something like that in his early
And just
40s, mid 40s.
look good, and because
Yeah.
he was,
I don't
he
know
was
why I just
fit
thought of him as
and
young. I don't, please
With
don't
those
ask me
back
why.
muscles
yeah, with those
flexing.
back,
Girl, just gonna
yes,
pick up
Hey,
that desk all on his
hey,
own
let
and
me see
move
those
it.
back muscles.
I
yeah,
have to glance
yeah,
over all them parts.
I really liked Hector more than the other one. I liked Hector the best,
yeah,
but
So,
yeah.
out
what
of the
were
two
you
doormen,
ladies thinking that? What were you guys thinking by the time the ending came? Like, who was exactly what? Like,
well, I didn't expect
because when we read, we try to
Yeah,
figure it out.
yeah.
Like,
I didn't expect
okay, this
Joan to
person
be
did that, and
related
this
to.
person is this. Hmm.
I
I
didn't
did
expect
not
the
get,
relationship between
yeah,
Joan
and
and the
Lily.
Irish Rose, the black.
Yeah,
I was like, I didn't see
Oh,
that coming.
yeah,
really?
Mm.
yeah.
I
I
I
yeah.
totally
really
saw
didn't
that
see that
coming.
coming.
I
Did
guess I was
you?
just
That was
supposed
You
to think
did?
something else.
Because
Talk about it, Rian.
right
because
right away, she said he called me, and I don't remember the Gallic word, but he
Hmm.
called me
Hmm.
blah blah blah. It meant my dark rose, and I'm like, oh, like that bar, the black rose.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh
I
yeah,
have like an inner
Mm.
dialogue that's really sarcastic. Um,
yeah.
she said something like, "Oh, and Rose went to stay with her aunt upstate. I also have an aunt upstate." And I'm like, "Oh,
I
Mm.
do
should have put
Oh.
you?"
2 and 2
And the whole
together.
time I'm like, "I bet you Lily's a ghost. I bet she's dead. I bet
Now
she's not
that
even
I
alive."
Mm.
did figure out.
Because when she helped her when she came in her house,
That I figured
they
out. Lily
emphasized
was
the ice
not real.
cold hands.
Yes.
She
I figured out
did
that
say
Okay.
Lily was a
that.
ghost.
And
Yes.
also
Yes.
remember somebody went in her remember Melissa heard somebody go in the apartment, but Rose was supposed to be sitting in the apartment when
Yeah.
that person went in there. So how come Rose didn't see or run into that intruder type person?
Right. Right.
So, but
No.
I'm saying that
and
now, but I did not think that
Yeah,
then.
and
I was
when
like
she
you.
went, when she went and said, "My neighbor Miss Day also seen it, and he was like, Miss Day,
He's like,
her
we
There's
don't
last
even
nobody,
name
have
is her
yeah,
nobody
last
here.
name is Brea, whatever it is, you
yeah.
know,
I
like
did it and I still didn't catch,
I
yeah,
did. I
yeah,
did. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this lady isn't real.
yeah. I
I
Mm.
know.
didn't
I
catch that
figured she
one.
was dead when she could get into the front door. I'm
Didn't
like,
she
ah,
have on white when she came in and they fell on the floor? Did they say she had
I
on
didn't,
white?
I
Yeah, I
didn't,
don't
that,
remember the color she was wearing,
I
but I
don't know, but
remember
Okay,
that
walking
sounds
in the
I
good,
could be
door.
GB.
tripping. I
That
could
sounds
be
good. That
tripping.
sounds good. I don't know, but that's a good. If it if she
Read the
didn't, we're
book,
gonna say she
listeners.
did. I
Read the
don't know.
book and
Yeah.
let us know.
I just don't
Yeah,
know
let
the
us
Did she
know in the
have on white?
comments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
was she wearing white? She might have been. I
Because
totally
I
blanked on
don't know if
that.
it's a me thing
it
or
could
it's
have
an
been though,
actual book
Gabby. It
thing.
really could have been though.
It
I
could have
really don't
been.
remember. It
I
could have
kept
been
remembering the
unimportant to
red
me that I
sneakers.
I just let it
That's
go.
crazy. Unimportant.
Yeah, like
But yeah, that's the only part I didn't really see coming was the relationship. I got
Yeah.
like caught up in the weeds like you, Victoria. I was
Yeah.
just trying to figure out other things, and that took me by surprise. I was like, "What? Her grandma's the what?"
But at what point do you get annoyed when you're like, okay, it's just too much convenience? Like, oh,
Yeah.
I
That's
Well,
don't, I felt
yeah.
yes,
like that's a little too
life
much for
is
her to
not
make
that
her
nice and
grandmother
neat.
Rose.
Yeah.
But I am
Yeah.
a sucker for an ending like that. I have to say, ladies, I guess I'm the big
Mhm.
sap in the group, and I think me and Christina are kind of similar.
Yeah.
Because
I
I am a
love.
sucker for an ending like that. I have to tell you, I love
I mean,
endings
ain't
like
aren't
that.
all books supposed to end in happiness like that? Like
I'm a sucker for it.
Okay,
I
did
am.
anyone else cry when Tommy was there?
Oh, I did.
Nope.
I cried when
I
Tommy came.
totally cried.
I cried on that part. Yes, I
Like,
did.
oh,
I'm
Hey.
sorry, I'm not a
I'm
crier
like
I
too
I'm not
Brianne,
missing.
often.
I'm not
Brianne,
following.
I
I
might
am
get a
not
little flutter
either. I'm
some
like,
days.
no, I'm not a
I
I'll
don't know if a tear
cry,
crier.
is
but
gonna
not
drop.
that this book did
like,
not make me cry.
I
I was
just
Yeah.
just so,
I just
like, it
love
was
the
happy
closure
tears.
of it. What you say?
Hmm.
Like, it was just so happy. Like,
Yes. Uh,
she
I don't
saved
know.
him and he like got that moment and then he got to see her get like her ashes. Like he finally got to like, figure out how she died.
Yes.
Like
I
Yeah.
that
love
moment.
the closure of it. I'm sorry. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. I loved it.
I loved
Wow.
it.
Well, that okay. Well, I mean, I definitely, if this is not enough to make you listeners read the book, I don't know what is. I'm
Yes.
telling you. So, it's definitely, I mean, based on our discussion. I mean, I read the book and I'm like, huh, I need to go read this book again because
Right,
apparently
because
I didn't.
they're calling things that I'm like, maybe I
Yeah.
missed
How
that.
many
Like,
Yeah.
times have you read it, Trish?
I read it twice. And
Yeah.
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
I love rereading books to see what I missed.
Did you
Like,
miss
I
stuff?
am a rereader too. My
did
hand is
did
raised.
you
I
read
will reread something.
did anyone catch the part that even though she hates Joan, she like rooted for her to leave the apartment because she figured out that she's agoraphobic?
Mm.
yes, yes.
Mm.
She was like, good job, but she
Yeah.
was saying it condescendingly, but at the same time, she
Yeah.
knew
Hmm.
she was help pushing her what she
Yeah.
Yeah, she was kind of like, well, I got my reasons, but I'm so glad she's actually doing it
Yeah.
because
Hmm.
Joan was getting into some really dark places psychologically.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Really, she was.
Yeah.
And like
And
So
all
that
of
to
that,
me
a lot of it mostly was because of the head injury that she did not
even
Go
tend,
to,
know.
Yeah.
tended
yeah.
to,
oh,
Yeah.
I
Which
got
is
so
a
mad at that part.
dingbat move.
I
Mm.
thought that
I think
Listeners,
Melissa
if
was
your
kind of
head get bumps hard and
rationalizing
you're out
that.
of it, go get checked. Like, cause
Yeah.
that was just weird to me. Like, why you still not going to?
but you know what? She kind of departmentalized it because she put herself in the same place as her victims. A lot of rape
Yeah.
Yeah,
victims,
The
yeah.
sexual assaulted
reasons why,
victims
yeah,
they do not go
the
to the
help.
hospital. They're
Yeah.
Yeah.
scared to get reported because they're always afraid of no one believing them. They have
Yeah.
no evidence,
So you
and
think her
stuff like
thinking would
that.
have been better if it had not been so fresh of her doing those stories on those women and presenting that article and writing
Definitely.
that book?
Yeah. Maybe she would have
Definitely.
went to the
She would have
hospital.
been more
Yeah.
herself of knowing better to go, like, because she kept comparing herself to the ladies, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh wow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and for me, I'm supposed to ask this question right now and show concern and da, 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 da,
Right.
when she was talking to the realtor and other things, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
She
that's
did.
probably what it was.
Yeah.
Did we speak on the realtor punk ass solar her down? Did we speak on that?
Barely.
Like, come
All I
on
call it
now.
blonde.
You trying to see a shit show. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like that's what she
that
was
was,
on.
yeah, she was ugly with that. And you know what?
Yeah.
I would, I mean, just, I know it's a book, but like, I want to go back and sue you, Heffa, because
Yeah. Trying
how
to play
dare
possum
you
and ignorant, and you
disclose?
know what you
Yes,
doing and what's going
exactly,
on.
exactly.
You know what's going on.
Yes, I thought she was just tacky all the way around.
She was. Well, I got a
Yeah.
After a
story
sale, that's
too.
all she cared about.
I got a story.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
yeah, and then I mean, tongue down my throat. Like,
Yeah. Right.
you
Yeah.
know, I feel like
Yeah.
you're holding your hand over your eyes and peeking out. Like, are they looking? Are you watching me? Okay.
Right.
Yeah, like I was assaulted too. Like, come on, what's your motive?
Yeah.
Yeah. Them,
Sell.
She definitely
yeah.
was about
Availability.
That's the prime example of what we were saying, the people
About me
abusing the
too.
Me Too.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
abusing the
Yep.
Me Too.
Yes.
She
Like, come
she
on.
exactly was saying me too.
Yes.
Like, well, I can't say.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
sure you want to look at this place I got for you over there? You know what you're
Right.
doing.
Yeah.
Like, that was just tacky. Like, as
It
a
was. It was.
professional
Because
It was.
and
curiosity
knowing,
always kills the cat. Who don't want to
Yes.
know
yeah, but
what it
just
is
with
that you're trying to
everything that's
hide?
going on, this man had
Yeah.
killed himself. You know, this is the woman that ended her,
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
family did. That put her family in an uproar. Like,
Yes. Why
you
would you even
intentionally
connect
Not to
knew
that?
what you were
mention, not to
doing.
mention, the same lady referred to both of them to you, so
Yeah.
you know there
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
connection
yeah.
somewhere.
A lot of maliciousness and backstabbing and just they smile
Yeah.
in your face like, who is your friend? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it
Right.
really wasn't no real true friends in that book for
There
Not at
weren't.
all.
There
No.
weren't.
Every,
maybe Rose and Lily were
Maybe
maybe really
maybe
I
friends.
those
read
yeah.
two.
Rose.
Oh, the
Yeah.
ghost, good one.
Yeah.
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 That would.
They
When
know
she brought
better.
back the locket,
Yeah.
that locket.
Yes.
Yeah. The locket. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
That
good
would have
book.
been.
I enjoyed it.
Yes. All
I
right.
so
So
enjoyed
then
it.
let's do
Wait,
our.
Yes.
well,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, son.
No, no,
Did you?
no. I was
Oh,
gonna say what you were about to say. I was like, yes, let's do our stars of how
yes. I
many.
was exactly one through five, and we'll start with Oh, and would you recommend it? So, Christina, you're up first.
so I'm going to give it a 4. Y'all know typically I give books 5 for the most part, but I'm gonna give it 4 because like I said, I still had a couple of questions at the end that I felt like I was left hanging with. I definitely would recommend the read. You know, it kept me interested, and I definitely wanted to know what happened next. So yeah, I definitely would recommend this.
All right, and we'll save you for last until it's
Okay.
your book. And so, Gabby.
So I want to know if you happen to know, if you read anything else by this author. Was this her first work, or if you just happen to know? If you don't, it's okay.
I don't know,
Anyone?
and I've never read anything else by her, and I don't know if this was her first book.
Okay. Well, I've never read anything by her either. I would have to go with a 4 too. I give credit when credit is due. Um, the book still was good. You know, you caught some things late with recognizing that this was smoke and mirrors and stuff, but I like that through it all, we still were thinking. I give it a 4. I like it. You
All
know,
right,
yeah.
Rianne.
I'm so glad you ladies won't be able to throw anything at me. Um,
Speak your truth, honey.
That's right.
Yours.
I'm gonna give it a 3, but if she were to go through and like edit it again, like fill some of the plot holes, I'd be willing to bump it up to a 3.5.
Yeah.
All right, and would you recommend it?
I think it might get lost in like the hundreds of thrillers that I've read. I don't know. I think
Okay.
I might, if somebody was like, I really like thrillers and I like New York City as
Mm-hmm.
a like a plot or a, a
Yeah.
setting.
It
Yeah.
probably
Then
wouldn't
maybe
be
I would
my
think of it.
first top 5
um,
recommendations for
Yeah.
recommending
just
a
a quick
thriller or
side
something.
question.
Yes.
So, Rianne, you're in New York. Some of the references they made in the book, because I like things like that when people actually do real,
Accurate research. Yeah.
research. Was some of the historical or any of the places they mentioned, was it true to the writing?
I don't know. I live in upstate New York. I live in the Finger Lakes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Like, I thought
And so
city.
I don't really know,
And
gotta
this
be
was
honest.
New York
Okay.
City
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
in the surrounding area, I guess.
Yeah.
Sounded pretty good to me. I mean, they talked about the subway and the drawbridge over that one creek, and sounded pretty good. I bought that part of it. I bought it.
I was gonna say it sounds pretty accurate for what they gave,
Yes.
just from reading and experience of being in New York, it sounds like a New York vibe book. Like it sounds like that to me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds authentic.
All right.
Authentic, yeah. Like they've been there, walked there, lived there. They felt it before.
All right. Trish, 1 to 5.
I'm gonna do a 5 this time.
Woohoo! Trish.
Okay.
I know. Like I'm not ball. I actually really enjoyed this book.
That's
So
good.
Good.
I actually already recommended and gotten a couple people to read this book. So I
Cool.
really enjoyed it because I thought it was a very interesting, and I kind of like the parallels and stuff. I actually enjoyed each woman's story, and yeah, so that's my
And
opinion.
you liked it so much you've read it twice. So that's
Yes.
proof. That's
I'm
proof
gonna
of your
probably read it
5.
more. I'm gonna probably.
Okay.
I'm gonna read it again.
So
Yeah.
all right, and Sin, before yours, I'll do mine. And I don't know, I've been copying Rianne all day, not intentionally, but I'm
Speak
doing
your truth,
I'm
say.
doing
Hashtag speak
3.
your truth.
I'm doing
Yes.
3. Mine's was more so, I don't like frustrating, irritating characters, and also it was slow. I felt like it didn't have to be as long as it was, and it dragged
Yeah.
on so much. I was trying to hurry up and get to the end.
Yeah.
It just dragged, and I don't like books that drag. So
It was a drag a
yeah,
little bit. It had
yes.
yeah.
So I do a 3 as well. And there's, the only thing you could have done to make it go higher than a 3 is cut it in half, probably.
Would you
The
recommend it to anybody if they were looking for, or
It
if you
would.
knew someone who maybe liked slower reads?
I would recommend. It would not be the first books I would recommend, and I would say something like, "Well, hey, you might like this one. It was slow," but I would. This would not be one of my first books that I recommend.
I feel the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's very fair. I love how we're all so different, and even our reasoning sometimes is alike, sometimes it's different.
Yeah.
I too have to go with a 3. I and it's for some similar reasons as you, Victoria, and you, Rianne. What happened for me is that it was a bit slow. And the twists, although they were okay, they weren't the kind of twist that like you'd be like, what the? Like that kind of twist. Not for me, they weren't. But obviously for Trish, they were very good. She really liked it. So I'm happy to know that somebody gave it a 5. I chose this book without knowing anything about it, anything about the author or anything else. And I would recommend it to people because I do know a couple people that don't like so much of the kind of graphic things that happen in some thrillers. And this would be a good book for somebody who kind of like the slower story without too much of the graphic, blood and gut stuff. So this would be a good book for that type of thriller reader. So I would recommend it. But yeah, for me, it's a 3. And I do plan to read another book by this author, which means, I didn't hate the book. But I'm just curious to know if her other books kind of read similarly to this one.
Right. Well,
I
let us
definitely
know.
will read other books by her too.
Yes. Well, let us know.
Just for that reason, to check it out and see. Because, like I say, I read. I like reading. I like when I come across good authors and they can captivate me and give good story and have me thinking, especially on psychological suspenses like this one is, and it had the thriller on it. So I like that. Yeah.
Well, lady, good choice, Cynthia. Thank you for
Yes,
that.
good choice.
It was great book discussion because I mean
Great dialogue
as
about it.
people know, I mean if they've listened to our other ones, we never have any problem discussing a book. I tell you that
No.
we
Period.
flow. So I think any book we read is going to be
Good
great
discussion.
discussion. Yes. So thank you,
Yes.
Cynthia.
No problem. I can't wait
So
until it's my turn again.
I know, right?
Me
Oh, I
too.
so enjoy your
Me
choice.
too. I'm like,
Yes.
dang, what month is
So
gonna be my month?
So, well, I will tell you when is going to be your month, Miss GB.
Again.
So,
Tell me.
you are up this month for our what are we? Is it November? Our November
Yeah, our November
selection.
discussion. Yes.
November,
Yes. So, GB, would you like to share what you have selected and what we're going to be reading?
I would. So, first off, listeners, if you know me, you know me. And if you don't, I am very indecisive. And by me being the book junkie crackhead that I am, you know, I've been torn between, and I'm proud of myself because I actually narrowed it down between two books. And I guess I'm gonna go with what's been having my attention more. I hope you all enjoy, the listeners and my panel. I'm gonna go with a book called Song Yet Song, SONG Yet SUNG, by an author that I've read his literature before, a great author, James McBride. It's available on Bard, DB67170, and it's on Audible. Me personally, I like the Bard narration by Mare Trevathan.
Oh, Mayor Trevathan, yeah.
Yes, I like her. I really like that version. I don't know who's reading it on Audible. But
What is the
it's
genre?
it is I need to look.
Okay.
I need to look
Okay.
before I
Well,
confuse
I
it.
guess we'll figure it out.
Just one
We will.
quick second. I apologize.
And you said song yet song?
Yeah, sung as in past tense.
Okay.
So song yet sung. SUNG.
Beautiful title.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. Okay.
Yes. So, well,
I will tell you that the book is taking place back during slavery.
Okay.
It was a very good read for me. I've only read it once. And I read it when I first went blind a long time ago, probably about like 16 years ago. And it is a book that I have in my top 10, and I hope you all enjoy. I'm trying to find out what it is. So it's probably some historic. Oh, it says when
historical.
does violence in strong language. Let me see where it says.
Yeah, maybe historical
is,
fiction
Yeah,
or
that's what I'm thinking. Historical fiction. Yeah.
It's not telling me.
Well,
It's
that's
giving me the
okay, GB.
summary.
That's okay. We will just have to.
And it has some violence and strong language, but it's very good, and I hope you guys enjoy. I guess, well, for the summary part, it's a woman slave going through some things. She has, and I don't know, I don't even want to do that because I'm a person. A lot of times, I don't prefer to read the summary. I like to just find and discover the book as I read it, and sometimes the summary gives you too much. Sometimes the summary
Yeah.
tells you the whole book, and sometimes it doesn't give you enough. And I don't want to mess up because, being that I've read it. So I think it's good. I hope you all enjoy. And it's called Song Yet
Yeah.
Song by James McBride. He has some other books that I read that I really enjoy. What is it? The Lord Bird, the Lady Bird. I forget it, but one of my top 10 as well.
It
Thank
does
you.
say
All
it's
right.
historical fiction.
Yes.
Oh, that's what it
All
says?
right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
Historical
thank you.
fiction.
Thank you so
All
much for
right.
choosing a book that's not a thriller.
Yeah,
Oh, no
right.
I
problem.
love
No.
thrillers, but my in-person book club, that's all they ever pick.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
well,
Well,
good. I'm looking
I like the fact
forward.
that it's because we're broad and we get introduced to different things and able to branch
Yes.
out,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
so
Yes. Yes. I love it. And we'll be surprised because there's genres we don't read, and that's what I love about having such a diverse panel with you ladies, is
Yeah.
because there's things that I may never have read on my own, but
hmm
you guys forced me to open up and have a more open mind. So thank you guys for that.
I'm gonna
Um,
say it again with the book number for Bard and Audible. It's Song Yes Song, narrated by Mayor Trevathan. Um, and it is DB 67170 if you are a Bard reader.
awesome.
And it's also on Audible,
Also
done
on
the whole
Audible.
narrating.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Gabby.
All
Looking forward
right.
to it.
Yes, yes. And ladies, we could sit here all night, ladies.
For
So
sure.
let's spare our listeners and give them a break. I want to thank you guys again. It is always such a delight to just come to the table and just discuss these books with you guys. I love and respect all of your opinions. And thank you guys just for being a part of this book club. I appreciate you all. Thank
Thank
you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Happy reading.
Yeah.
Happy
Happy reading,
reading.
everybody. See
Yes.
you all in November.
Yes, yes.